Hello, Starlights, and welcome to the Cozy Corner. I'm Liza J, and today I'm going to be talking about my most recent read, Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. A couple of general things that I want to touch on before I get into the plot and the characters and, everything that makes a book review a book review. This video will contain spoilers for the book, so please save this video and come back later if you're not here for that. Onward we go. One of the big things that I love about this book is the way it's set up. I like how the content warnings are plainly laid out right there on the page, first thing you see, right after the title. And then the dedication immediately after that plays into the whole vibe of the content warnings. I love the fact that a playlist was included with songs for every chapter, plus QR codes to actually access the complete playlists. I think that was really cool. And then the flashback to when we were younger and books had chapter titles. I absolutely love that every chapter has a title and that the titles are incredibly witty. Now, going forward, we will be entering spoiler territory, just so we are all aware. So the opening of this book is kind of a shock to the system if you're not expecting it. Opening with Sloane trapped in a cage with a decaying body close by and the mental image of maggoty orzo pastas is an oddly hilarious way to be introduced to the story. And if you're a fan of witty banter, you get it straight out the gate with Sloane and Rowan. Their chemistry from page one is magnetic, and it makes you want to read more. Now, on to my favorite part of any book review. The part where I get to gush about my new book boyfriend. Rowan freaking Kane. The man is funny as hell. Multi-talented. Just the right side of dangerous. He can cook. A man after my own heart, honestly. And don't get me started on the things that dirty mind can come up with, because this man makes me need to touch grass. And I would be dead wrong if I didn't talk about my book Girlfriend. Sloane is every wallflower bookworm with a twist. A very gory twist, and who doesn't like that? All of that combined with the e-reader full of varying genres of spice. She's literally every bookish girly. And she will sit there and argue with you that there is a difference between gouging and plucking. No, I will not elaborate. So, during the first murder competition that they have over the course of this, I think it's like 4 years, we get to see Rowan absolutely lose his shit. On their target. For even daring to put his hands on Sloane. And it gives life to me as a fan of the touch them and die trope. Anyway, the story takes place over the span of several years and contains 3 of the annual murder competitions, in between which you get to see them grow closer by somewhat unconventional means. Sloane shows up at his restaurant on a whim, has a mini anxiety attack, draws him a pretty bird, leaves it on the table, speaks to him for all of 2 seconds, and then dips. And then he ventures to take it a step further. He goes full on stalker. Standing outside her house, paid a boy from the neighborhood to deliver a bag of food to her front door, and proceeded to teaching her how to cook over text message and phone call while he was standing outside of her house. Oh my god. And I'm just, sir. Sir, please. But this ends up becoming a regular appointment with them, and it becomes one of the highlights of Sloane's day, and I absolutely love that, because she's learning a skill and learning him at the same time, and it's like really adorable, and I love it so much. And this is what goes on between that first competition and then their second competition. So the second year, we get competition number 2, which brings the mind-altering, oh god moment of the semen ice cream. When I tell you I died, I was completely floored. I was at work when I read that, by the way. And I had to try to explain to my coworkers why I was, like, dying laughing. It was the most embarrassing thing I ever had to do. And I definitely did not reveal the honest truth. I was like, oh, something funny just happened in my book. Because how do you tell your coworkers that semen ice cream? Like, how do you tell people about that? You don't. You don't. And then the fact that Rowan didn't realize at this point that he'd actually eaten a person, and like proceeds to throwing up the contents of his stomach. Like, oh honey, let's rewind to the part where you drank the wine that was drugged, and now you dug that hole for yourself, hun. Oh, all of that together just kind of made it worse in the best way, if that makes sense. And after this second competition, they come together again. And it's because Rowan is receiving an award, and he invited her to be his +1, which was really, I loved it. I kind of did a little squee moment there. But the night of revelry is full of miscommunications. And a very misconstrued definition of the word fun. I mean, on the one hand, I kind of expected it, because, I mean, you guys have an annual murder competition. The fact that his definition of fun is, let's go kill a guy together, kind of makes sense. But it kind of sucks when she's sitting there like, yeah, no, this is not what I had in mind when you said fun. I was thinking more like, back to your place, back to my place, where we go. But we got there eventually. Because then we come up on the 3rd annual competition. And this is where everything changes. Neither of them are quite prepared for what awaits them with this new target. And as I was reading, I could feel myself panicking. I was like, oh God, something's gonna happen. One of them is gonna get hurt. One of them's gonna die, aren't they? And then I looked at the book and I was like, wait a minute, there's still too many pages left. Nobody's gonna die. Well, I can't say nobody, but they're not gonna die. I was not wrong about the being hurt bit, though. Because, baby girl got her shit rocked. Trying to protect Rowan, which was really sweet. Even though, if I'm not mistaken, he was, not really in danger. Which made that, very interesting. But she ended up with a jacked up shoulder and a boot print on her face. That was... I would have cried. I would have cried and then never left my house again. Oh my God. But at this point, she gets locked in a cellar. And Rowan does some spicy things with an axe in the cellar door, and it's just like, whew, that's hot. And then it was followed very closely by the two of them kind of getting hot and heavy in the barn, even though they didn't actually do anything other than kiss yet, but we'll get there. But the journey to this point was so wild and worth every second, so... Honestly, like, I have no words. Just, you know? The spice, the first little bit of spice we get is absolutely fucking amazing. I 110% stand by every spice scene in this book because it is unhinged in the best way. Sir, you're gonna make me need to go touch grass. I repeat, I need to go touch grass. So we finally get together. We're moved in. She's moved to his place, so they're both living in Boston, and it's like this super great vibe. You know, they stay together, they slay together, and they live happily ever... Wait a minute. Nope, we're missing a few steps. So, Rowan is working on opening a second restaurant, and he takes Sloane to see it. And when she realizes what the name is, oh my God, it was so sweet, so romantic, my guy, sir. Rowan. Ugh, I would sell my soul for a man to do shit like that for me. But he ends up naming his second restaurant after the two of them. And it was super sweet. And then the things that happened within the restaurant before opening day were super spicy. All of which was followed very closely by, there's too many pages left. Oh no. So we step into the danger zone. The too many pages. Things are going relatively okay. I mean, he's kind of freaking out because he's worried that he's gonna fuck up her life somehow, and she's just like trying to figure out how to get things back on track for the two of them, because he's been extra stressy, and it's been a lot. And then we have the creepazoid who decided to do too much. So Rowan is getting ready to take Guy home from work, and everything gets flipped on its head. Everything gets flipped on its head. Because the guy they thought was fucked up was not as fucked up as they thought. At least not in the way that they thought he was fucked up. But after David decides he's going to take a literal chunk out of Rowan, he gets what he deserved. And baby girl wrecks his shit. The build-up for which made me cry so hard, because the way Rowan made her leave, the way this man made her leave, did things to my heart. I felt that in my bones, in my soul. My entire spirit felt it. But she got her lick back. Baby girl got her lick back. And once she figured out his coded message, baby girl got her lick back. And I love it. I so freaking love it. Sitting there dogging on her man right in front of him like, it's all good. It's all good. And then the follow-up after David was dead. Like, the whole thing. The whole fucking thing. That whole scene, that like whole set of, I think it's like 3 chapters, just wrecks me. But then we finally get our hard-won happy ending. We finally get our hard-won happy ending. That comes by way of a proposal with a ring in a man's eye socket. The only time this will ever be romantic is in this exact context. And then, so we get that, and like, the dragon onesie. The dragon onesie. The dragon onesie. And the impromptu wedding. Ugh. Just, their happy ending made my brain happy. Like, it did something to my brain chemistry. But yeah, this book was definitely one of those reads that I wasn't expecting to enjoy, because it's not necessarily in my usual wheelhouse. I'm more of a romantic-y kind of girl. I love me a good dark morally gray fae man. You know? But like, this book hit all of the vibes. All of the vibes. It was funny, it was witty, it was emotional, it tugged at my heart several times. I wanted to reach into the page and punch a guy more than once. It was just, oh my god. Definitely a 5-star. It was definitely a 5-star read for me. It was full of vibes, laughs, and emotion. And it was absolutely worth every second it took me to read it. And every single sideways look I got at work. Because I did decide to read the entire book at work. So I was constantly getting sideways looks from my coworkers because I was cracking up and crying and just all of it, all the time. It was an adventure. So yeah, no, that's my my ramble rant about Butcher and Blackbird, which I sincerely recommend if you have not read it and you just decided to stick around for the spoilers anyway. Only so much about it can be put into words without reading it. So that concludes today's Color With Me and Ramble. Hopefully going forward, I'll be able to have some more content out to you guys. I'm planning on working on some video game content here in the next few days, so be on the lookout for that. And I hope you lovelies have a fantastic rest of your day.